One, yeah, three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, we have some really beautiful snow outside right now. I've got a dog playing in the snow who will not come inside. He decided that he's going to stay out there for the rest of his days until the snow goes away. Apparently, he's happy as he's content as can be. He's a Siberian Husky, so it's what he wants to do. I mean, you can't. People think like, why are you letting your dog sleep outside? Well, I'll tell you what, right now, he wants to sleep outside in the snow. I mean, I had to take him, put him back in 3 times last night, but for the most part, he just goes outside and sleeps in the snow right now, sleeping there in the middle of the snow, just having fun. How much snow do you have over in your place, Brian?
Quite a bit. I'm looking at it right now outside the window. It looks good. Got a little natural light coming in, so this is cool.
I tried to turn mine around so you have that the view earlier, but the brightness in the background doesn't work too well. It was but I think that by the time the day is over, we'll have we'll accumulated a little more, and hopefully it'll last for a couple of days. I enjoy the snow. I really do.
Yeah.
I've always thought that
we should be able to go ahead with Friday Night Live tonight. We know what we're doing.
Yep, I think Friday Night Live will go great. It may only last for 40 minutes or half an hour, but we're going to be good. So if you're out there, check us out on Friday Night Live. It's going to be great. We've got a professional recording singer here. And the recording singer is going to be Paul Maurer. And small story, Paul Maurer also shares a Star Brothers singing. He's a singer as well. His band, I can't remember his brother's band's name, but they're a multi-talented family. So pretty cool.
Yeah, he'll tell you about it tonight on the live show.
Absolutely.
Let him talk a little.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna take the microphone away from him. So for certain, I think should be a pretty good event. I'm hoping so. Yeah. So by the way, to continue where we left off, I have some questions for you, but they're not going to freeze my freaking computer. Nice. So if you were here yesterday, folks, you saw something very unique that will probably happen to you sometime. It's the weirdest damnest thing in the world when you hit a button on the computer and all of a sudden I was doing a survey. We're showing a survey on here and my computer froze up. It just started hitting these things saying, you've been infected, boom, boom, boom. I'm at the point I'm calling my banks, I'm freezing my credit cards, I'm like, what the hell here? This is just, and Microsoft is telling me, they're telling me that it's Microsoft, and I got a phone call from said Microsoft. It was just ridiculous, but it wasn't Microsoft. It was a scam. It was a freaking scam. And they try to get on the phone and tell me they're from another country. They're trying to tell me that, time for me to go turn off my refrigerator because the data in it, and a TV and the toaster. I'm kidding about the toaster, but they did tell me to turn off all my appliances and stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're afraid of it was interesting. That's when I'm like, the computer in my turn them all off, sir. I'm like, you're right. I'll turn this one off right here. Boop, turn it off. He went bye-bye. Call me back, kept calling me back. I'm like, no, wouldn't talk to him again. I'm like, this is just
all figured out now.
Yeah, I figured out that if I got rid of that one, it's a weird thing because normally if you have a page that goes bad, you could just get rid of that one page. Well, this page froze my whole computer, and then I had to realize that it was actually just that one page. It wasn't a multi. Like if I could get to different places in my computer, I could still do that, but everything was weird. It just like it froze, so it scared me. It startled me. I thought maybe I'm gonna have all my stuff stolen, and hopefully I don't. But scammers, So it was interesting to watch it happen live, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was interesting. We can find out what the name of the site was based on watching that too, if we want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you find a new site?
I found a couple different things. I have some questions for you today, though. The surveys. I'm gonna take a day off the surveys, but doing them live. I'll give you the questions myself. If you're ready for a question, have you had your coffee?
I realize I need 1 minute. I don't think my sound's very good. I want that microphone. So Talk to
You do
you.
what you gotta do. We'll
Okay.
sit here, we'll kick back and we'll wait for you.
Well, you could
Cool.
tell the audience a little bit about what's going on tonight and how they can find it and stuff.
Sure, sure. As a matter of fact, it's a good question. How can you find it? I do believe that on Facebook, we made an event. It is Friday Night Live. You can go onto my page, my personal page, or Brian's personal page, or Paul Mauer's, but it's Friday Night Live. And we'll be streaming live from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock. We're streaming. Paul Mauer is a local songwriter, singer, kind of a band, or what do you call it? Garage folk is what he said. So the garage folk type of music, apparently, pretty good though, most definitely. So you can look him up, Paul, Paul, and Mauer, Paul Mauer, and he's got some pretty good music out there. He's been doing it for quite a long time, and if we can help promote him, that'd be great. You know, I'm glad he's come by the studio to record us a song or two. You know. Or
Yeah.
5 or 10, however long he's gonna stay. But he's charging me a whole whopping dark beer or two to play for us. So I am all for it. We can afford to pay him a dark beer.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a talent out there and it requires a shot of energy to get you going, or a beer, whatever, we'll get you on the camera. Love to have you. Let us know. Anyway, are we ready to go there, Brian?
Yeah. I'm ready.
Now speak loudly.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. It's not quite as strong as it was. Oops, shoot,
Really?
let's turn my computer off. There we go.
Well, I've had good luck with this thing, so.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay. Well, awesome. Okay, so odd question. Okay, 3, 2, 1 questions. Brian, if somebody gave you 1,000 acres of land right now, what would you do with it?
Well, I might split it up and get some, allow some people to homestead there. People that can build a tiny house on a small part that's willing to do some work. No handout, just a hand up. That'd be a good place. You could get 500 houses there. But maybe limit it to even 10. Just take part of it and give them each a tiny house and kind of show the a prototype. Because I was thinking about it, you don't really want 100, 500 people that are coming out of tough times trying to build something together. You maybe need 10 or 15 and have a caretaker to keep an eye on it. But that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Put the other 900 acres away for a while and figure it out.
Well, you figured you're even with 100 acres right there.
Did you say 100 or 1,000 acres?
I said 1,000 acres, but
Yeah, I'd take 10 of it, do that, and then figure out the other later.
even with 10, that'd be great, because you figure the house that you have right now, you're on probably 1/8 of an acre or an eighth of it, or 1/4 of an acre,
Yeah.
1 or 2. So you could do quite a bit of tiny houses on those things.
Yeah, or maybe even go with more ranch houses where if you had 10 acres, each get an acre, and then they can build their home on that and figure out their life and get out.
But that's not tiny houses. You could do a ton.
Yeah, I do 10 though, just because if you do too many, you start getting crowd problems for people that, if these are people that have had troubles in the past and you put too many people like that together, then that will win out. So maybe 10 people that are willing to work hard, just need a break.
Give them an acre, or give them 10
Give
acres.
them an acre, and I'd sell some of it to get plumbing and electrical out there. So then we have homesteads for 10.
There you go. That's not bad at all. That's a good way to go. Good idea. We know people do have 500 acres out there, 1,000 acres, whatever, in the area, right?
Yeah.
They could give up 100 acres and we'll figure it out for them.
Well, even 10 acres, acre a person. Give person an acre.
Yeah. Well,
and then we'll, I'll have Ted Nugent over for the other 900 acres to go hunt and get us some food.
Right. There you go. It's not a bad way to go, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I like that. That's good.
If somebody with 1,000 acres should give you 100 to make it happen. Yeah. So we'll see. Matter of fact, speaking of somebody with 1,000 acres, we recently talked about Joe Rogan and how he got some ungodly amount of acres in Texas now.
Yeah.
Right? And he's building
a compound.
Building a compound in a city of some sort. it appears, with
Yeah. There's supposed to be a outdoor amphitheater, and then he's gonna have a comedy club out there, and then he also is getting a comedy club in Austin in town.
but he's also giving some of the acres to his friends that he bought.
Yeah,
So
he's offered-
he'll have neighbors of like, who's gonna move there?
Well, he offered it to Ron White. I don't know if he's gonna do it, but
Oh, well,
he offered
Either
him
way.
like 100 acres or 10 or something. I can't remember, but he offered him an area to build a house.
yeah, well, that's cool. I heard a few of them, what I heard, but that's awesome though, either way. Kind of a comedics, a land of the comedy. I don't know, kind of interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, question number dos. If you could hack into any computer right now, whose would it be? Whose would you choose?
Well, it'd be kind of fun to get into Giuliani's.
Oh, Rudy Giuliani?
Or I want to see the order for that stuff he put in his hair that ended up running. I called
You gotta
him.
order that stuff, right?
He needs to get his money back on that one.
Yeah, Clairol, whatever it was. Yeah, that's pretty fun.
He'd be fun. We'd get some inside info.
I know, personally, I think that we're gonna find Rudy Giuliani probably has some type of a hidden kitty porn stash in there, some odd weird thing. He's an odd duck. He's got something different about him. He always has, because I don't know, him and the president there, they've had a pretty good friendship for a very long time. But
I'm going to disavow that statement. I have no thought that he has child porn. I just thought
I don't know what he has.
Clients and then legal strategy to get to see what he's thinking behind the scenes. He might even be emailing somebody, "This is nuts. What are we doing?" Who knows?
Right. Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
I want to see how much he paid for that hair dye, because that was not good.
yeah. I think he did it himself, honestly. That's probably why that happened.
But he probably bought the stuff he might have done the spray on. I don't know. That's crazy.
That could have been a spray on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense, actually. They start sweating, have that come down. Yeah.
That would happen to anybody that went to court trying to deal with that situation, the pressure. You'd get kind of overheated, and now it's dripping.
Yeah.
That was bad. I think that was in court. It might have been in an interview.
I'm not sure. I think that was court. Yeah. So, okay. Out of all the stuff that's been going on here right now, I mean, we've got a lot of crap going on, but what is the most interesting thing that you have seen or read this week?
Seen or read this week?
Yeah.
Actually, I did a little reading on the Confederacy, believe it or not, and the declarations and things like that, just on because somebody was talking about tearing down statues. So I just thought I'd look it up. So it was interesting stuff.
And what did you find out?
Well, it turned out the whole Civil War was about what they call now, I don't know if it's a variance or whatever, but what happened was one of the states, the line was surveyed wrong by like a foot, and they were arguing over that land. So it had nothing to do with the government or slavery or anything. It was all just the line that somebody had painted there was just off a foot.
Somebody crossed the line, as they always do with real estate. It happens all the time. Somebody's trying to take that extra little foot, 10 feet.
And they're arguing about what color uniforms each team was going to get, each side. So it was just more of a childish arguments.
No, that's funny.
But actually, I did find out a lot about the declarations, but it's way too controversial. But if I ever get in an argument with somebody, I can calmly give them some stats.
Yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah.
what the most interesting thing that I learned about this week was not, I mean, I would say the Capitol, people trying to, take over our capital, American capital in Washington, D.C., that was pretty huge. But just last night, the hits just keep on coming, I tell you.
That was last week, right? The actual siege or whatever,
The
the
siege, yeah,
storm,
the,
storming
was
of.
it, it may have been, yeah. It may have been last week. Thought it was a week, less than a week ago, but maybe it was a week ago.
Well, it was less than a week ago, but it was actually last
Okay, well, regardless, it's good.
six
Yeah, so
days
that,
ago today.
yeah, so that's people trying to take over our government. We had the huge, huge surge on the Capitol. Very sad for America. But still found something more interesting myself last night.
Well,
I,
let's straighten one thing out. Actually, wasn't the siege on the wasn't a week ago? I thought it was a lot longer ago than that.
the week,
Was it February 7th? I don't know.
February 6th.
I check on that.
Yeah. Either way, it's that I'm not going to go with that.
No, it was like a month ago because they were just counting the delegate,
Oh, okay. So it was.
Well, what happened last week that was interesting?
In the last week, it was interesting to me. Last night, I was watching a show, and they found out that this was interesting to me. It was actually happened. They found out last year, apparently, but they just came out with the information that there is life on other planets. And I know that we know this a little bit, but actually, one of the planets, which is 4 light years away, has been responding, sending information towards us. So that was pretty freaking cool. I'm like, whoa! It's the first time we've actually got information of we're picking up somebody else's signals. Like, what's the one that all those radars that are headed towards, are pointed towards the stars? What's that? I'm talking about down in Texas.
Oh yeah, the star pointer.
The star pointer. That's right. Anyways, yes. So no contact with what's her name?
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster. So contact. We actually have that right now. Last year, we have those things shooting towards a newer planet that wasn't in our system until recently, but it's 4 light years away, and they're actually getting signals right now. It's bouncing back, saying there's something there. There's somebody doing some radio waves or microwaves or something. I don't know, but they're picking it up, so that's kind of cool.
So they found life on other planets, but they're still looking for Raisin Bran.
They are still looking for. They have found life on other planets. They're trying to find life on this one.
Now, do you get the joke? Because that might have been too obscure.
Intelligent. Yes.
Yeah, they found life. I was going to say shredded wheat or whatever after that, but it's a cereal.
I get it. Yeah.
Cereal reference.
They haven't found life in Raisin Bran yet. No.
Yeah. Oh, you can eat cereal out of the LB Hour mugs too. So that's a nice.
You could. Call, orders you now. We'll get 1,000 of them sent to you. Absolutely.
When I watched a cool thing, it was this young guy who's probably in his 20s, and he was talking about these lost biblical verses, not the Dead Sea Scrolls, the other ones. In 1945, he talked all about it and had some analysis. It was really good. I'm not going to tell too much about it, but he had an interesting approach to the knowledge.
I would say that was pretty darn interesting. I can't remember what all it talked about, but it had basically talked about how tell me more about that, Brian.
Well, it was these lost gospels that had been buried centuries before, even millennial, in 300 AD. So they find them in 1945, and they're actual books of the Bible, Book of Thomas. And a lot of the books in there are about enlightenment and self-improvement, making yourself a better person to honor the Lord, basically. It's pretty cool. Stuff that's not in there a lot now. It was almost motivational in a lot of ways to get yourself together, figure things out. Don't force your thoughts on others. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty good too.
Book of Thomas and Book of Mary Magdalene. They're about, I think, 13.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. And if anybody hadn't heard of that yet, as far as I'm sure everybody has, as far as like the Dead Sea Scrolls and these ones here, there's a lot more to what's being told to us than just the Bible, basically.
Well, the weird thing about it is when the guys brought it home, the lady that was there at the house, it was cold. She started burning them and they stopped her. So some of them got burnt, but they think that there are other other ones out there buried. So that, not just one copy of each thing. So, but the authorities used to come in and take people's writings away and burn it. So these guys buried it.
Not crazy.
Isn't that wild though? If you know something's going to get destroyed, you bury it.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Rebels back in the day. So yeah, that was pretty good show. And the kid was young, but he really analyzed it well and talked about it. And he said, I'm not saying this is what it means. I'm saying this is what I think it means. I like this.
Yeah, I like that kid. I wonder what his name is, actually. I'd like to find that one out.
Well, next time we'll write that stuff down, maybe.
Yeah.
You notice that you'll see something, you go, what's that guy's name again? So I'll start writing down when I see people that are interesting.
Well, speaking of interesting, who's the most famous person that has impressed you? Who is the most impressive famous person today that you know, alive today? Sorry, I can't say that word right at all. I'm going to start the whole sentence over. Who is the most impressive famous person alive today that you've heard of?
I don't know. Nobody jumps out at me right off. That's alive today. I don't know. I really have no answer to that.
None.
I don't really have anybody that stands out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and there's a lot of people out there, mind you, but I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna shoot for my my guy Barack Obama, because he has he's gone through the ringer, and he's stayed pretty solid and clean the whole time, and he has shown this country that you can actually do things done correctly and nicely, and not have to be an idiot to get things, or a jerk to get things accomplished.
Well, that makes me think of, I got one now then, that makes me think of Jimmy Carter, who's like 95.
Sure,
Building a house.
absolutely.
He would love that plan of an acre for each person. He'd probably oversee how you do it.
He'd go peanuts. Wouldn't he go peanuts person?
He'd probably come over and teach people where they're going to build, what they should do with it, where their garden's going to be, and all that, because he knows how to do that stuff. He's done so much work since he was president. It was this presidency was a stepping stone. So, and he took it.
Yeah, no, I think it was. Since the presidency, he's done a lot of good things. Jimmy Carter has.
So much.
Now, you know what? I'm going to throw back and say one more interesting fact that I learned about this week, actually. So this week I learned that there is a city underneath of Las Vegas. Boom. I didn't know that, but apparently in the 70s, there was a major flood through Las Vegas. And because of that, they built all these flood tunnels. Wow. And the flood tunnels are huge. And now it happens every once in a blue moon, every 20 years or so, the flood comes through there, and but that's where the water goes, is in the flood tunnels. Wow. So guess who has moved into those flood tunnels? Homeless people who can't, but it's a huge amount. It's like a city underneath the city.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Seattle or Portland have those, I think, underground cities.
Yeah, definitely had underground tunnels and so forth.
And your hometown is reported to have it. There's a lot of question, but there are tunnels in certain areas.
Oh, most definitely.
Fully developed tunnels.
But I don't think our city is running under it. No. I mean, they literally in Las Vegas, because of the warm heat and stuff, and there's not much light. I watched the whole thing on it yesterday. It was pretty interesting. How many people are down there? It's pretty crazy. It's very sad. They've had people die and from overdoses and just a lot of things. But
yeah, well, when our city, Longview, was built, it was about a 5-block thing. So
yeah,
the tunnels were pretty much under the whole city, and then the city developed.
Yeah, no, we had tunnels. I think going from, I had heard originally from Mount Solo to the Monticello Hotel.
Wow, I never heard that. I just heard across the lake from like Ari Long High School, across the lake, that area.
Yep, I know.
The first ones were from the Monticello to the Merc.
Yeah, I know it goes from Ari Long to uptown.
Yeah,
so
that might have been done later. I'm not sure, but the one from the Monticello to the Merc is the one that intrigues everybody, because they think of the Ari Long himself going through there to get to his office, things like that. And he had hatches in the Merc. He was an interesting guy.
Well, Ari Long, before, way before I went there, used to have archery and shooting classes and stuff down below. That's in the tunnels, they've got
Ah,
shooting ranges in the tunnels. So that's how big that is down below.
where was the swimming pool? I always heard about it.
The swimming pool is in the gym.
Ah.
Behind the gym, there's a swimming pool right there. And they closed that off not that long ago, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty
Probably.
wild.
Yeah.
It was never
But-
long enough to be sanctioned, I guess.
Yeah, it was
2 years
a
instead of-
little short. It was a little kind of short, but it's still cool. It was a good. They got a crack in it, and nobody wanted to fix it, and yada yada.
Yeah.
There's always a reason why they get rid of things, but the pool was pretty neat over there. I never actually swam it myself. I remember going to it. My sister was going to school there, and she played water polo in that pool.
Yeah.
I played martial arts in that pool. Actually, we did some stuff in that place before it got shut off. But
Yeah. Every small town in America has an interesting history, and Longview's a good one. I suggest people look it up. Longview, Washington, the planned city. Really interesting story about this guy coming from the Midwest and deciding to build his next fortune here and built the city. It was incredible.
yeah, well, actually, I think that it'd be kind of cool to go into pick any city and say, hey, how did this start?
Yeah.
Who had the idea? Who wanted to build who took the 1,000 acres to build the homeless or the
Yeah.
this small houses, tiny
Yeah.
houses. You never know.
And the pioneer of the whole thing is Ari Long. He was the first major planned city. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's very cool. So what, Brian, what, if any, was the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Got a bunch of those. I would have to say just days after I graduated and we were in the Cove Palisades State Park, came upon a game of volleyball being played by some young ladies, and I did dancing on top of a van and that's as far as I'll go with the story at this point, but a unique form of dancing, then joined the volleyball game and played it with them. And to the amazement of the players, and the guy in the truck had no idea what was going on, but he saw all these gals looking at his car, freaking out and pointing and laughing. So it was more a story for this guy.
Right. Well, I'll tell you.
His last name, his name was Mitch, and he was an old buddy for years, and he had no idea why he was suddenly the center of attention, just driving a van. It was actually a truck with a big box on it, but he has no idea. He's seeing all this freaking out on him. What did I do? And it's not him. They're like pointing up, and he can't see. So
Gotcha.
that was
Yeah. I
was
mean,
totally spontaneous.
that's cool. Yep.
And that was
Things just happen.
before Styles did it in Teen Wolf.
There you go. Yeah, no, I think people have a tendency to forget what spontaneity is. You know what I mean? It's like probably the most spontaneous person I can think of. I mean, because if I had the money for it, I'd just leave and whenever I want. However, I do other things that are spontaneous. I have no problem having fun. I have no problem having fun.
Well, I don't even have to tell that story anymore because I go to a reunion or I see anybody from the old days and they tell it. So I don't have to even do it anymore. It's nice.
Yeah. No, the most spontaneous thing that I have done, that's weird because some of us we're kind of I'm kind of an extrovert a little bit here. I mean, just saying a little bit I am. But you give me a microphone, I'm on there instantly. You give me a camera, whatever, I'll make an idiot of myself just for everybody else's benefit, I have been spontaneous on probably too many occasions, but I have at the drop of a hat, I've driven to Cali with a friend of mine who's going to drive by himself. I'm like, wait a second, you're going to California this morning, driving by yourself to go to Cali? I was too worried about him, I'm like, bullshit, crap, you're not going by yourself. I'm like, grab my book, grab my bag, and hop in the car with him and go. Boom.
I like that. I like that. That's good.
23-hour drive. What do you do? I mean, you know what? I mean, I'll get plenty of rest when I'm dead. I've always said that, and it's almost true because it come close to dying, but thank God I have not gone completely there. But no, I've driven to California. I've flown into Vegas. Somebody's noticed. They said, "Hey, you want to go to Vegas?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have enough money at the time, right?" My buddy's like, "Hey, I got you. I want you to come meet me." I'm like, oh, "Okay." So all of a sudden, hop on a plane and I gone to Vegas and numerous spontaneous things with as far as if there's a way to kiss somebody or where to kiss them, it's happened right then and there. I don't shy around usually from, I try to be spontaneous as much as possible. People know that about me, I think. I know you've got a story or two out there, but yeah. Maybe my spontaneity has gotten me into trouble more than most, actually.
Oh yeah.
I know it has.
Mine didn't get me in trouble then, but would now. It'd be prison.
Right.
Even at 17, they'd try you as an adult, but it's not even that bad. It's just during the age of streaking. Streaking was big in the 70s, especially in the early 70s, but by 77, it was still going.
He's the streak. What's that song? Who sang that?
Oh, the streak. That was Ray Stevens. I love that.
Yeah, Ray Stevens. He was great. He did the streak. And he did. They call him the streak. They did the streak. He did Blue Cyclone. Blue Cyclone.
I don't know that one.
The baddest wrestler ever known. Something like that. They did Mississippi Squirrel. Mississippi Squirrel. You know that song, right?
No.
That is like his most famous song. Is the Mississippi Squirrel, I'm sure.
Ray Stevens?
Ray Stevens, yeah.
Well, the streak's pretty far up there.
Well, you have to listen to that one, folks. If you haven't heard the Mississippi Squirrel, play for your kids. It's funnier than heck, and they'll love it.
Yeah, some good songs. He had one called Guitar Zan. It was fun.
Guitar Zan, yep. I knew all of his Ray Stevens songs. Yeah, those are good. Guitar Zan. I can't remember. There's a couple others there, but he's like, "Hey, Margaret, this is me." Whatever it was. Yeah.
He had a heck of a career. I think he's still alive, and he might have a theater in Branson, Missouri.
I think he is. I think he's gone off the deep end though, a little bit on the far right side of political zone, which is not, which is fine. But for him, as far as anybody being in show business, it's just when you go off one side or the other deep end, you're kind of like you lose me a little bit. You know what I mean?
But some of them go off just a little, like Henry Winkler's a little liberal. And then I've seen guys that were just like Kurt Russell, a little bit conservative. Those guys are fine. They can even talk to each other. So, yeah. Ray Stevens, I don't really care about Ray Stevens' politics. I just love his weird songs. The guy.
Yeah.
They were so weird, but they became hits.
They're amazing. Yeah. No, he's multi-talented, man. That guy had some good songs.
They seem like the kind of songs that a bunch of guys, if they're having a few beers in college, could come up with something, maybe not that good, but just funny songs.
Right. No
songs.
For sure. I think I've got snowmobiles outside my house here. Wow.
Yeah. A bus just went by, so I beat you on that one. I'm trying to one up you.
Oh, and he has "I'm My Own Grandpa."
Oh, I like that.
That's a song of his own. And then "Everything Is Beautiful" by Ray Stevens. That's one that's probably one of my favorites, honestly, for him, which is a great one. I'm not going to play the video right now because I do not want to get in trouble. However, I will tell you, if you don't know of any of his songs, I can do this. I think probably one of the better ones. It's the nicer. This is where I heard him the first time. That says. Know this song?
No, I can't hear it. It's enough though. You do too many seconds, they're gonna
I know, right?
We'll be blocked. We'll be on in a month. We'll be back on in a month, folks. Oh, everything is beautiful. That's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to pause it. Sorry. Yeah, everything is beautiful. And then his other ones are the Mississippi Squirrel. Which I know that
he had never seen B. Arthur naked, so I don't know if he would have still written that song. I'm sure naked.
I didn't get that at first, actually.
I'm sure she was beautiful naked. B. Arthur, Maud. Yeah. No, that's a great song. I like that. He's good. I actually wrote a funny song one time, and it was my grandma died in prison giving birth to my son. And it was more of a joke song, but try to think about that. Grandma died in prison giving birth to my son.
You
That's
sing that song?
Grandma died in prison giving birth to my son. Think about that, how that would happen. It could
Well,
happen.
the thing is that he's not saying my grandma, he's
No,
calling
no,
grandma.
it's my song. My grandma died in prison, giving birth to my son. And I got a lot of laughs out of that. And a bunch of us wrote the song, and it was hilarious. But to get to that point of your grandma dying in prison, giving birth to your son, some bad behavior would have had to happen to make that happen.
Well, that song,
Could happen though.
well, the odd thing about that is that song, I'm My Own Grandpa, they explain it how
Very
it happened.
similar.
Yeah, they explain it how it happened, and it actually makes sense.
It could happen too.
It could happen because you get married, that woman has a daughter, an older daughter, and your younger father decides to get married to that daughter, and they have a child, and that's your own grandpa.
It's totally illegal, both of them. Both.
It's not actually illegal. I think that's
No.
sick, demented, and sad.
But it's just funny because his song about, I am my own grandpa, that's kind of where I got the idea for the one we did. But it's funny how people will then just start riffing off lines on that and coming up with scenarios, knowing that none of it would ever happen. It's just absurd.
Dude, I'm telling you now, I bet you anything. I swear, I look like I'm got a different origin in my authenticity here because my eyes are like basically shut. I'm gonna turn this off here. I don't know why.
Remember that Merle Haggard song, I think it was, and he was like, I turned 21 in prison doing life without parole. That's a
that was a good
Mama
song.
tried.
Mama tried. Yeah, that's a great song. I haven't heard that in a while. I think that's a scary movie that I listened to recently. Had that song into it.
Well, Ray Stevens would take country songs and the whole genre and make fun of it.
Yeah, no, he would. He's a funny guy. He was a funny guy. I'm trying to think of what movie that was from. I think it's a scary movie. Mama tried.
Really? Mama tried to teach me better, but her loving I denied, or something like that. Merle Haggard.
Merle Haggard. He was what the boys didn't know is he from Merle Haggard? That's Waylon Jennings. I'm thinking Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings did Dukes of Hazzard theme.
But what the boys didn't know was down at the Boar's Nest, Boss Hogg had her way with Daisy Duke and yada yada, and Roscoe Pico Train. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, John Schneider, who was the blonde Duke, he does an almost daily thing on YouTube talking about Dukes of Hazzard and the South and all kinds of stuff. It's a pretty interesting show. John Schneider.
Yeah, no, John Schneider. So the movie I was talking about, by the way, was called The Strangers. And The Strangers, it's the one that showed, I do believe it had one of the actual Hollywood murders where they had something Tate. What's her name?
Oh, Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate and a couple of people got murdered. Yeah, and so they read that movie called The Strangers, and that song is in there. It's pretty creepy. It makes it whenever you put an older song into these scary movies, it makes it that song. Sorry, my voice is a little odd today. That song just sticks in your head. It's kind of like a creepy song for the rest of your life. I think it's like Mr. Sandman.
Oh yeah.
God knows when I think of Mr. Sandman, I think of the Michael Myers and Halloween. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like the timing of the song and everything. I think that song, and then 1804, Stephen King movie 1804, they played a good movie, not Mama Cass, who was it that sang the song? I don't remember, but it just sticks in your head when you hear it. You're like going, oh, creepy Zoid. You don't want to creep. Yeah, I can't recall.
Remember Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes, the late Mike Wallace? He was the head guy on 60 Minutes. Remember that show?
Maybe.
Yeah, he was with Dan Rather and all that. He was a big time journalist. He said that if there had been one Manson murder in 1968, there would have been no Manson murders in 69.
Well,
I
that's
think it
true.
was Mike Wallace. Yeah, you get that?
No, say it one more time.
If somebody had murdered Manson in 68, wouldn't have had to deal with the Manson murders in 69. Might not have been Mike Wallace, but it was a noted journalist. And I thought that was interesting. A little controversial.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's kind of like if you
Yeah.
go back in time and kill Hitler, would you? Well, of course, But I mean, it's just
If I went back in time, I'd take Manson and have him meet Geraldo right away because Geraldo had his number. He used to interview him and control Manson and make the rules and all that. So I would go back and hook up Geraldo and Manson, have Geraldo straighten him out.
really.
Yeah,
But
Geraldo.
Geraldo controlled him, you said?
Oh, yeah, he did an interview with him, and Manson made demands, and Geraldo goes, hell no.
But that was
Not going to
after.
happen.
But that was after.
Yeah, but I mean, if you send him back in time, Geraldo can control Manson. It was pretty funny. He's just a journalist, but he was aggressive. He was kind of a badass back in the day, Geraldo.
Yeah, no, he was. Actually, I liked him back in the day. But I think that he's once again decided to go some political venue and just it's just weird because I thought he was pretty bipartisan early on, and then but I didn't know my own politics at the time. Or
when he was young, he was into the controversial, and he wanted to investigate, and he was, get death threats, and he was kind of a wild dude back then. Then he did that talk show where he got the chair thrown in his face. By then, though, it mellowed out, and then he became the sit down, the pundit. Because he got older, he can't go out chasing stories like the old days. He snuck into mental hospitals and uncovered a lot going on in some of the mental hospitals. That was his first big one. He went undercover.
And Al Capone.
Yeah, he did that later. That was a kind of a setback, but he came through. Nothing in there. But I like the guts of not knowing what was in there. But when he did the thing at the mental hospitals, that put him on the map, and he became Geraldo, basically. He went in
and that shut
hidden
down
cameras.
And that shut down the mental hospitals, really, in America, didn't it?
Yeah, kind of went overboard, and they shut too many down. So he was too effective.
That's not weird. I mean,
he had that mustache, and that was the key.
He was.
That was the key to his look. He thought of Geraldo. They could draw quick pictures. Caricatures were easy for his graphics. He was known for that mustache, and he had.
Yes, he was.
He was a boxer early on in his life, I believe, as a child or a teenager or something. He did some boxing. Yeah, he did some boxing.
I could see that. He's kind of a tough guy. You can see that.
Yeah, he's feisty.
You can tell his nose has been busted before a little bit. Well, I don't know about prior to the chair, but anyway, I think
we don't want him hosting Jeopardy, though. He should not be the new host. He's just
you should be, Brian. You should be.
Much of a character.
You need to make a little video of yourself and mail it in.
I should find out what the deal is. That'd be fun to at least try.
Yeah,
I know one guy's turned it down. That's Dan Patrick, the sports guy from ESPN, former ESPN.
Yeah.
He turned it down, said, no, I love what I'm doing. I got a radio thing, a podcast. I'm happy. I think
it'd be great. You could pull it off, just put on a suit and give him a ring. Yeah. By the way, so it is the magic hour right now. It's about time for us to get out of here. Folks, by the way, if you haven't done so yet, do us a favor. We'll try to be funnier next time. And it's the pound hour, so pound that subscribe button and like it as much as you can. Send to your friends, share a little bit, tell them how silly we are, whatever. And
enjoy the snow out there.
Enjoy the snow. It's not dandruff, I swear. But let's pound out of here, Brian. We're gonna do Rochambeau it out. Pound it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wow, okay. I'll do it up higher this time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got you finally.
You got me.
4-game. Wow, good job. 4-game winning streak there. Ended today.
There you go.
Well, shut us down when you're ready. I'm headed out of here.
Okay, folks. You have a wonderful night. I will see you tomorrow.